everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Salty Bible Podcast. It is your hosts, Scott Zorn and me, Blair Soto. Today we're going to go over Judges.
The
Dark Ages.
Ooh. So you remember when we were back in Genesis chapter 3 through 11, we went down the vortex of death.
I believe it was episode 2.
Yes.
It was a tough one. We got through it.
We're getting a little bit back there again today.
Knew it was a matter of time.
Sorry. It's Israel's fault.
Okay. Whoever we got to blame.
We're going to blame them.
All right.
Absolutely.
They just keep screwing up.
They do.
All right.
So I hope everybody's having a good summer. I know it's the middle of August and it's been a hot one. Mm-hmm. And so we're just trying to survive that. And I don't mind it.
I love the heat.
Heat and humidity person.
Same.
I like it.
Yep.
I like my pool. I like the float to Yacht Rock Radio.
Yacht Rock Radio.
I know.
I love it.
Super smooth.
Yeah. I believe we mentioned somewhere in one of these episodes that you're like a dance music guy.
I am, but I also have this thing about like the 80s. Of course, I grew up in the 80s, so I'm going to be all about that. But in recent years, since I put a pool up in the last 5 years, I've been so into yacht rock stuff.
I'm here for it.
Michael McDonald, give me that all day long.
I am here for it.
It's so good.
We don't have a pool, but we do have a pretty rockin' trampoline with a sprinkler attachment on it.
Okay.
You float, we jump. It's
go.
a little different, but you still get to cool off.
Yeah, as long as you're staying cool. That's the
Yes.
that's the important part. But
Yes.
that's fun. But I like the yacht rock thing. I'm into it.
We're listening to like the kids' favorite songs, which Henry's playlist. So I make a playlist for each kid on my Apple Music based on what they tell me their favorite songs are.
Oh goodness.
And hilarious. And I add to it what I notice like perks them up or like they really like to have fun too. So like right now, James is like a lot of Taylor Swift. Because who could blame him? I mean, I'm playing it all the time. I know. Scott
I need
has
to get water.
Big feelings about it. Henry's is like, you're going to love this. Queen. And loves Queen.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
Radio Gaga used to put the kid in a trance when he was like having a meltdown as a toddler.
Well, my son Jason is a big Queen fan too, and he like kind of learned how to play guitar by playing some of Queen songs too.
That's cool.
So he really enjoyed that a lot.
So our playlist is not yacht rock, but I'm certain some of the yacht rock jams would be.
They're hiding in there somewhere.
They're in there somewhere.
Sure.
For sure.
Just before they get too old, introduce them to the good old stuff.
Oh, we listen to everything.
There you go.
We listen to everything. It's not just Taylor Swift in here. Come on.
Oh, please.
Now, where do you think they learned Queen?
Yeah.
REO.
Yeah.
Def Leppard.
Yeah.
They know all of it.
Good.
They know all of it.
Good parents.
Yeah. I went to a Bob Dylan concert last summer.
Oh, wow.
And John Cougar Mellencamp and Willie Nelson.
Oh, wow.
And I also went to the Era Store. So there's really no in between for me.
That is something you'll never hear. Folks, that's something you'll never hear me say, that I went on the Eras tour.
No, because it's over. You couldn't if you wanted
My
to.
daughters went. They all had a great time. I'm happy for them. My wife liked to watch them on YouTube and all that.
Oh, the best. The live streams. What a time. What a time we lived through.
I went to the man cave, and I was very happy.
It's a good place to be.
It's a great place to be.
If you're you and that's what's going on.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. All right, Judges. We're moving out of Joshua. As we came out of last week, we came out of the reality that Joshua went into the land, took the land, parceled out the land of the 12 tribes of Israel, mostly, and yet didn't quite conquer all the bad and evil that was in the land, especially the giant clans and the tribes. And because of that, their false worship, their idol worship, their evil, that is part of who they were and are, infiltrates the life of Israel.
Again.
So they can't get past this,
Yeah.
We're supposed to be the rescue operation of Abraham to bless all the nations. We're supposed to be this incredible Jewish people that are going to show people what it looks like when God's in charge of everything. It's supposed to be awesome, and then they get influenced. Yeah, they get influenced. Their solution.
It was right there.
slips through their hands, and the book of Judges is going to show us this cycle that we're going to go through today that is dark and crazy.
Great.
But I want to tie it today to everybody listening to your own family's life. Like, can you be the person to break the cycle of rebellion in your family's life? Can you be the person that, and maybe it's not, maybe rebellion's too strong of a word for maybe people listening. Maybe it's just you have family members or your parents or grandparents just didn't care about the Bible, didn't care about Jesus, didn't care about God or the church or anything. And it just, you stayed home. You know, you weren't like evil people doing evil things and killing people left and right. You just, you just weren't following Jesus.
Yeah.
Knowingly or unknowingly. But can you break that cycle? Can you break that cycle? That's the call here, is that we could possibly do that, as we learned from the judges when Israel didn't do that very well. So I'm going to do something I don't normally do, but do you ever just want to know the end of a book or the end of a movie before you watch it?
No.
No.
I'm a rule follower. I'm like, no. But I know plenty of people who do.
Yeah.
They'll read the last 10 pages and then go start the book. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Because some people don't like surprise.
That's crazy.
Some people don't like to go through the emotional roller coaster they go through on a story. I kind of do that with sports. So if Michigan State, and I'm a big Michigan State fan, huge. If Michigan State's playing basketball, especially basketball, and there's a big game coming up, and I've recorded it because I maybe had a meeting up here at the church or something, whatever.
Okay.
I will look on my phone.
Of course.
And I will say, oh, they won the game.
You got to know in real time.
Yeah, because somebody's going to text me, my son.
Yes.
For sure.
Your Twitter will
My
go
dad.
Off, or you'll see, sad faces across Facebook. Or
like, I can't believe that ending.
Happy
and that
faces,
happened a lot this last year. But knowing the end of the story is good for me and my stress levels when it comes to watching the game when I watch it back.
If you would have asked me sports, if I was missing a game and needed to check the score, you bet I'm checking that.
Green Bay Packers, right?
I'm checking.
Yeah.
I got to know what's going on.
Folks, you got a Green Bay Packer in the house here, and that's unfortunate.
Big old cheese head here on the mic. Never have I lived in Wisconsin in my life.
Detroit Lions, that's all I'm going to say.
Well,
this is their year.
It'll be a tough opening.
This is their year.
Don't we play you opening?
I hope so.
I think we play you opening weekend. I thought, or very early on, at least.
I hope we play in Thanksgiving, too.
No.
Yeah, you want that.
I don't want to ruin my holiday. I got to have more faith in my team than that, but I'm a realist. They're young. They're so young.
They are. But they're going to be good. They're going to be
But
good.
sports, I do look ahead.
Yeah.
Because I got to know in real time.
Yeah.
I won't, but you go home and watch the game?
Absolutely.
Oh, I don't have that kind of free time.
I don't have kids at home.
That's what I mean. I can't, to know that this is where my life is headed maybe one day. This is
I'm giving you
exciting.
hope for the future, right?
I can get through another day then,
exactly.
knowing it's coming.
There's a day when you can do
and
that.
And it might just break my heart. You seem pretty happy, though. I think I might be all right.
It's pretty good.
Okay, cool.
Empty Nest is pretty awesome.
But a movie or a book, I would never look at the end first.
Well, I'm going to do that to everybody today. Sorry.
Spoiler alert.
We're going to the end of Judges because I want you to know where it ends. And it's just the last verse of Judges. Judges 21:25 says, in those days, Israel had no king.
Oh.
All the people did whatever seemed right in their own eyes. So everybody did whatever they wanted to do.
Oh, it's a lawless land now.
Total and complete chaos. They did what was right in their own eyes. And it's so interesting to hear that phrase because I see that happening all around me.
Uh-huh.
Every day.
Oh, yeah. Every
narrative, every news story, every outrage, everything is right in your own eyes. Mm-hmm. This is how it shows up. This is how you hear it. You do you.
Yeah, I'm going to do me.
Or you do your you have your truth, and I have my truth.
Yes.
Problem is when your truth invades my truth or it crosses the will of my truth, and all of a sudden there's conflict. Problem, right? We have to have a standard that we live by, and of course, I'm going to suggest, following the Bible, you want to live by God's standards of living. So that was the problem. And that's not a good phrase in Scripture. They did what was right in their own eyes.
No, that's terrifying, especially in the time frame that they're in. That's scary. Like, really scary to imagine.
It's a terrible ending to the book.
To know how far we've come.
Yeah.
At this point.
And from Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, into Moses, into Joshua. Now we're actually at the promised land, haven't got the evil out, and then the evil takes over.
Completely takes
over. To the
over.
point where they're just all running around doing whatever they want to do.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that will explain why we need the book of Judges, why we need Judges at all. Because this was a dark age. I call it the dark ages for a reason. It's the dark age of disobedience and rebellion. So they turn inward. They turn evil. They turn selfish. They worship false gods. Now, let me clarify something before we get into this incredible cycle of sin and grace. When you hear the word judge, what do you think? What comes to your mind?
Gavel.
Exactly.
If we're doing word association.
I was thinking about that last night. I wanted to ask that question, and I didn't want to prep you with that question.
Sure.
I wanted to hear what comes out of your mouth on that one, and I thought the word I hope she says is gavel.
Thank God I
and
delivered.
You just said it. That's so good of you.
Look at that.
Fantastic. So that's true. We think of gavel. You might even think of like in the British Parliament or whatever, the weird white curly hair wigs.
The wigs.
That they put on. And the
I have
judges.
a cousin who's a judge, and she's going to hate this. Sorry.
Sorry, cousin.
Sorry.
That is not the judge of the Bible. Okay. The judges, they're called judges for a reason. Yes, they judge things, making judgments on what's right and wrong, whatever. They really are several things combined. Okay. So think of a judge this way. God calls upon them to be kind of like a prophet, a truth teller.
Oh, okay.
Like come in, speak the truth. They need to hear it. They're off doing their own thing. They're doing what's right in their own eyes, doing evil, worshiping false gods. So we need somebody that's going to be a truth teller. That's going to be a messenger of God.
Okay.
So that's one thing that the judges are. The second thing they are is they're military leaders.
Oh. So
you judge cousin judge you have,
yeah.
No, they don't want to be a military leader, do they?
I don't think she does. No.
Probably not.
No.
So they play that role because of the cycle of sin and grace. Every time Israel did what was wrong in the sight of God, did what was evil in the eyes of the Lord, he allowed outside entities, if you will, outside countries, clans, tribes, to come in and oppress them, hurt them, pillage them.
Oh my gosh.
So they cry out. So the cycle is they cry out, and then God sends them a judge, and a judge comes in to tell them the truth, be kind of like a prophet in the land, but also be a military leader to drive out the evil clan, the evil tribe that was fighting against them. So that's how a judge operates in the Bible. And in our Bible, we have 12 judges. Okay. 12 are mentioned. Some have very, very small stories, if hardly anything at all.
Really like the number 12 here. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, 12 tribes of Israel,
Yeah.
12 judges. Is there a correlation here? Am I
Could be.
spoiler alerting for that coming to, or is that just my brain finding some sort of correlation?
You're not ruining anything for the future. I didn't have that written down, but I thought that myself. Is there something to the 12? It could be.
It's pretty symbolic.
It seems very. It could at least be symbolic.
Okay.
There's nothing overtly said in Scripture that says that it had to be 12 tribes. 12 judges to, because
I'd
there's
like to
12
think
tribes.
it's a nice little nod to like,
Could be.
I got to send 12 hammers down because you guys just couldn't get it straight.
One for each tribe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I can go with that.
I like it. It makes me
cool
feel
with
good
me.
knowing that.
So what we have in front of us is just a little cycle. And I want people to put this in their imagination. And so think about a triangle. And at the top of the triangle, you have peace in the land. Everything's good.
All good.
Take a deep breath. Yeah, that's it. So
We've made it.
peace in the land because the enemy has been driven out. And we're at peace now with one another, worshiping God again. But then we fall back into the cycle. On the bottom right corner of your triangle is sin and disobedience. So we fall into sin and disobedience. We get influenced by the tribes that got to stick around, by the evil that got to stick around. And we bow down to these idols and false worship and evil things that they're doing. And so we fall into sin. I'm talking about we, Israel, the Israelite camp, falls into sin and disobedience. And so in the midst of that, God says, well, I'll allow the enemy to come in as kind of like a punishment.
Sure.
If you're not going to obey me, not going to worship me, follow my law, follow my ways, then you're on your own.
Yeah.
And when they do what was right in their own eyes, it brought trouble. And then what happens between the bottom right of the triangle to the left, where God sends a judge, left corner, it's them crying out. And you'll hear that over and over again in the book of Judges. And so Israel cried out to God, and Israel cried out to God, and they cried out to God. And in crying out to God, they were heard. God heard them, and so he sends a judge, a military leader and a truth teller, a prophet, to tell them, hey, you need to get your life straight. You need to get back in line with God's law.
Yeah.
You need to be the blessing that God always wanted you guys to be, the Abrahamic blessing. And then once the judge comes in and militarily takes care of the enemy, back to the top of the triangle. Peace in the land.
We've got peace in the land again.
And this little
everybody forgets.
This
we
little
fall
cycle
back down to the right.
happens 12 times. Are you exhausted yet?
I am a bit exhausted thinking about that. Yeah. And because not only before this 12 times, I feel like it keeps happening through the whole Bible over and over and over again. We're perpetuating this cycle
all the time.
All the time.
And if people have never known their Bible before, the Old Testament really is this story constantly. We get to the end of the Old Testament in Malachi, it's pretty much mediocre. Oh. That's a nice way of saying it, actually.
Okay.
So the Israelites, the Jewish nation, the temple, the worship was kind of like blah.
Going through the motions kind of a thing.
Yeah. Oh, and even corrupt. Oh. So you have this cycle going on. You have the good times, peace in the land. That happens from time to time.
And then people forget.
And then they forget.
And then they think they can do better themselves.
Right.
And then they get total loss of control.
Since I gave you the end of the story,
yeah,
we all know it ends with they did what was right in their own eyes.
There's no king.
No king, nothing good.
Ugh.
Nobody to lead them. That phrase actually leads us into the next segment that we'll go to next week, but having no king. But that's not necessarily a good thing. Like wanting a king.
Terrible thing.
Desiring a king is not a good thing. Because all the other nations had kings, but they were oppressive to their people. And God's like, I'm your king.
Right.
I will be your king. Trust me. And they're like, no, but we want to be like everybody else. You ever heard that kids say that? I want what everybody else has.
You don't act like so-and-so's mom and dad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They gave me this. They gave me that.
I always just tell my kids, I'm not as cool as them. Sorry.
No.
I do. I tell them that all the time.
I did that all the time, too.
I'm like, sorry, I guess I'm just not as cool as them.
Not a cool dad.
Doesn't change it.
That's right. That's right. So what I want to do is to highlight 2 of the 12 judges.
Okay.
Because they think they have unique stories. They're cool stories. The first is from Judges 6, 7, and 8. Chapter 6, 7, and 8 is the story of Gideon. Now, when you hear the word Gideon, and I wish I knew the connection to this because I don't know. I should have studied it, I guess, but it doesn't really matter. Gideon's Bibles in hotel rooms. You ever seen the Gideons? You ever heard of that?
No.
You never heard of that?
No.
Seriously?
I mean, I've seen the Bibles in hotel rooms, of course.
That's the Gideons. So there's a ministry called the Gideons.
What?
And the Gideons, they've done this for decades.
They're responsible for getting the Bibles into the hotel rooms?
Yes.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
I just thought that it was a nice thing that the hotel did.
No, hotels
they let
allow the Gideons to come in and put those. I don't know if they do them anymore, though. I don't know.
I just stayed in St. Louis, and there was. Okay. Well, I just say it was over Christmas. So it was almost 8 months ago.
Just a few weeks ago. 6 months ago.
8 months ago. Yeah. It was. There was definitely a Bible in the hotel room because Michael found it and goes, "Oh, they put a Bible in here for us." He goes, "Can we take it?" I said, "No, we cannot take it."
So that's the Gideons. I don't know if it has anything to do with this story, but that's my
If you know anything about that and the connection to it, please email saltybiblepodcast@gmail.com.
Oh,
We'd
yeah.
love to hear the story if you know it.
Would love it. I don't, I don't know. It's one of those things where I see it and then my ADHD kind of kicks off over here, and I squirrel, So
look it up another day.
Yeah, we can. Story of Gideon, Judges 6, 7, and 8. So the Midianites are the oppressing country now. The oppressing evil people that are coming in, God allowed because of Israel's disobedience.
Okay.
So they cry out, God, help us. Midians are coming in. They're beating us. They're oppressing us, and we want them out of the land. And so God comes to a guy named Gideon, and he's an interesting character, to say the least. He says it pretty accurately, and I'm just going to summarize because there's so much to it. But he says, God, why would you choose me? I'm the least of all the tribes of Israel. And inside of my family, inside the least of all the tribes of Israel, I'm the least in my family. So if you can put Israel on this pyramid, if you possibly could,
yeah,
or rank them.
Okay.
This is the 12th weakest tribe, the weakest tribe in all of Israel, and it is the weakest family and the weakest kid in the weakest family. So we're talking about the bottom of the barrel.
God loves an underdog.
He does.
He loves an underdog.
He so does.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the whole point of the story.
Totally.
Is for God to say, you know what? It's not going to be by your might. It's going to be by mine.
Yeah.
I will do it for you.
Through me. Yeah.
So here's the story. I'm going to summarize because I wanted to read it, but I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can get to all that. But basically he says, I want you to assemble an army of people. So we're going to go kick the Midianites out of here. And so he does, and there's 32,000. Okay. It's an army. Not bad. God says it's too much. So anybody who wants to go home, you tell them they can go home. A whole bunch of them leave.
Oh, they're like, phew, close call.
And then God says, that's still too much. Take the rest of them down to the watering hole. If they lap like a dog or if they cup their water, he differentiates the way they drink their water, if they're ready for battle or not.
Oh, man.
He goes from 32,000 down to 300. 300. So I did the math. 90% plus reduction in the army.
Wow.
And then Gideon's like, how are we going to take out all of those Midianites that are outnumbering us by a lot?
Right.
So he says, no, why don't you surround their camp, and at night I want you to blow your horns. This is crazy stuff.
I've heard this before.
Blow your horns. Yeah, it's like Jericho. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, blow your horn. Okay.
Okay,
so.
that's what you say.
All right.
This is how God works,
Yeah.
So blow your horns, and then your jars, you're going to break your jars and crash them, make a big sound out of them.
Okay.
And then in your other hand, with your horn in one hand, and in the other hand, you're going to have a torch, a light.
Okay.
And so it looks from the encampment like Midianites are surrounded by all these torches and these loud noises and these horns being blown. But there's only 300 of them, not 32,000.
Okay.
And so what God does, and the text is very clear about it, he throws the Midianites into confusion, and they end up killing each other.
Oh.
They end up turning on each other, killing each other, to the point where they had weakened so much that then those 300 men could chase them out of town.
Wild.
And defeat them.
I've never heard that story. That's insane.
That is the quickest summary I think anybody's ever heard of that story.
That'll do. I mean, point made.
Go back to Judges 6, 7, and 8 and read it in detail if you want all the gritty details. But that's the whole story.
Gist.
And the gist is this. The gift of God is the gift of God. Mm-hmm. So that no one can boast.
Yeah, because if there were 32,000, which they had, and they could have gone and done it.
Yep.
And it would have been no big deal. So
Maybe-
the 32,000.
Maybe they would have come with, we had the strength and the might to do this.
The arrogance would have been there. The arrogance would have been there. The faith in God wouldn't have had to have been there.
Exactly.
And he's forcing the faith in God to the forefront.
Yep.
By making a complete underdog scenario and saying, trust me in this idea I have. It will work if you just trust me. That's nuts.
I know. And that's the way the story goes. And
Wow.
that's a theme that shows itself through Scripture. God says, salvation is not of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It is the gift of God so that no one can boast. That's Ephesians. Jesus said this with his disciples. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Whatever you do for the least of these. So God has a penchant, if you will. He has this knack for choosing the least.
Yeah.
So this is the least tribe, the least family, the least guy. Gideon's like the last person in the whole Jewish nation that anybody would think should be called upon to be.
How's he worthy? Yeah.
Our judge,
our
hero, and then when he's called upon to do that, then he's asked to reduce it down to hardly anything.
He's like, I just got 32,000. Come on.
And then no.
The kind of convincing I had to do.
Right. Tuck these guys into it. And a lot of them didn't want it.
Come on. Yeah. And it's this story is sticking out to me because it's just further proof that when you think you're not good enough to go to church, or you think you're not worthy enough, or I'm too much of a sinner, I've done too much wrong, or I haven't been perfect, or whatever it is you've done. Mm-hmm. Here's another story in the Bible showing that no matter who you are, what you've done, or how terrible you think you are in the eyes of God, he wants you. Yep. He's going to choose you.
Yep, always does.
And there's a whole book about it called The Bible, guys.
That's why we're doing this,
Every podcast, we brought up some underdog that doesn't, in our human eyes, deserve to be there.
Right.
And God's like, no, you're perfect for this.
Yeah.
I want the underdogs. I want to show you what following me looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
It's strength and weakness.
Yeah.
If I'm weak, he's strong. And that's the posture of a Christian.
Yeah.
It's the posture of leaning on God, dependent upon God.
Yeah.
This victory does not happen without God.
Truly, no. There's no way.
He throws them in confusion.
Yeah,
Gideon does.
They would have flubbed it.
Yeah, probably.
They would have flubbed terribly.
So you have that story, and that's just one way in which the constant narrative comes through that, a lot of people say, oh, God's genocidal, or God goes in and kills a bunch of people through the Israelites. A lot of times the Israelites don't do anything. What did these guys do? They blew their horn, and they broke their jars, and they lifted their torches in the air.
They scared them. Did you get scared?
It's just, it's like Jericho. They blew their horns and walked around the city,
Yeah.
That's not battle the way I
No. That's not
Braveheart.
That's not a bloody battle. That's not That's not the battlefields, the strawberry fields that we envision when we think of these wipeouts.
No.
This is God caused this confusion, gave Gideon and his 299 the faith reinforcement that they needed at the time.
Yeah.
So there's so many wins on so many levels here.
And I like what you said just a little earlier. I think too many people, unfortunately, and you've felt this, but also witnessed this, they don't feel worthy to come into a church building.
No.
To be a part of a church family.
No. We talked about it in one of the episodes. It bawled my eyes out my first service because no one had ever told me that God loves me no matter what.
Yeah.
I thought I had to be perfect to earn my love from God.
Sure.
That's crazy. Yeah. Now knowing there's a whole book about this.
Yeah. A whole book that helps.
And I was raised Christian, just a different subset, right? It's not like the Bible was not referenced or talked about in a way. I just was never taught the Bible. I was never given the stories. It was never broken down for me. So when you say that, you're absolutely correct. I did not feel worthy of God's love, which is why I sobbed like a baby that first service, because it literally changed my entire life when you guys all stood up there and sang songs about it. And it was just so natural coming from you guys. God loves you no matter what. Jesus is here for you. Jesus is a friend. No matter what you've been through, your anxieties, give it over to him. He can handle it. And I was like, what? I got to rewire my brain here.
Yes. So he chooses the least.
Yeah.
And all of us are the least at some level. We're just the least.
We are.
We need to think of ourselves that way and let God do what God does. And we just are used by him in a good way. Mm-hmm. Now, there are other judges. There are other ugly stories here. And I don't want anybody to think, just by the way, I don't want everybody to think that these 12 judges are just always godly people.
Sure.
Perfect people, they're not. Okay, they do some pretty awful things.
Some gruesome things.
Themselves. Samson's one of them. We're going to get to Samson next. Samson's one of them. Jephthah is another one. That's a name, a mouthful.
Say that again?
Jephthah.
Bless you.
Thank you.
That is a weird name. There's some weird ones in this book, but that's a weird one.
And it's worth reading through. And it may confuse people as they're reading through the Judges and think, oh, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, God sent this guy?
Yeah.
He's a monster.
Yeah, and he is. And some of them are. And Samson is one of them. He's kind of a monster.
Ooh, okay.
Samson's a more well-known name in Bible world, I guess.
Interesting.
He's known because of his strength, and he's able to beat people. And
just a brute?
Brute dude.
Okay.
Big brute dude. But the secret of his strength is that the vow was made about his hair. That his hair was allowed to grow long, and it was never cut.
Oh.
And because of that, God allowed him to have strength. It was above and beyond most human abilities.
He was like the first Rapunzel. I'm sorry.
So true.
I'm sorry. She had powers because of
that
her
is
hair.
my wife's most favorite movie.
It's so good. It's so good. Carrie and I all have that in common.
Yeah, you
it's
guys
so
can
good.
talk about Rapunzel all day long. I'll stay
good.
out of that.
Can't wait for our next small group. We'll be breaking down Rapunzel, everyone. But
you go right ahead.
But her hair gave her.
Yeah.
Was it a nod to Samson?
I don't.
I mean, she wasn't a brute. She wasn't a judge, but
no.
she did teach Mother Gothel a lesson.
There were some lessons.
She was pretty evil. Just saying. And she did it through some graceful tactics. Maybe there's more Bible work at play than we thought in Rapunzel. I don't know. Now I got to rewatch it. I'm losing Scott Zorn here, everybody.
So we've gone from Gideon Bibles in the hotels to Rapunzel. You are welcome, my friends, for all this craziness.
Enjoy the ride.
It's a ride, yes. So Samson has this incredible strength because of his hair.
Okay.
He loves women too much.
Oh.
And one that he got entangled with the most is named Delilah. We're not talking about that nice soft rock DJ on your soft rock stations at night, Delilah. Not Delilah at night. We're talking about Delilah of the Bible. She is seductive. She wants to... she's being, influenced by bad people to ascertain the secret of Samson's strength. And she's, lying in bed with Samson, and she'd ask over and over, "What's the secret of your strength?" And he'd say something, and it would be the false. He'd lie.
He's just lying.
Totally.
Is he protecting his secret, or is he?
Oh, definitely.
He
but
doesn't
also,
want people to know it's his
He
hair.
doesn't want to know it and everything. But she got him drunk, and she went in finally, wore him down basically, and in wearing him down, he finally capitulates. Okay, if you want to know the secret to my strength, if you cut my hair, I will be as weak as everybody else. I will be worthless.
Huh.
So she gets him to fall asleep, and snip. There it goes.
Delilah's a bad guy in the Bible, it seems.
She's not a pretty character at all. No, she's not.
Terrible.
So she kind of hands him over to the enemies. And of course at this time, so Gideon's dealing with the Midianites. Samson's dealing with the Philistines. Something to kind of know about the Philistines. This is where in the near future, as we get closer to the story, this is where David and Goliath. Goliath's from the Philistines.
Okay.
The last of the giant clans.
Goliath is the last.
That is recorded that I can ascertain at this point in
that
time.
we know of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those giant clans that are a problem back in Genesis 6 and have been a problem ever since, at least this part of the story, show themselves again. The Philistines are this oppressing nation on Israel. And so Samson, is not a very scrupulous judge, not a very moral judge in the history. The judges kind of get worse and worse and worse, and he's like number 12, or he's down. Yeah, he's number 12.
Okay.
He's
the last.
He's down to the end. Let me check that again. I'm just.
Is he like the last ditch effort?
Yeah, he is
To save Israel before there just can be nothing done at that point until
what we read at the end, where
right.
they did what was right in their own eyes.
Yeah.
So what happens is the way he is used by God to destroy the enemy, the Philistines. So Gideon, let's go back. Gideon destroys the Midianites by this crazy, blowing of the horns, breaking of the jars, and lighting your torches. And they go into confusion. They run them out of town. Samson's a totally different story.
Okay.
The Philistines now are celebrating the fact that they've captured Samson, that his strength is gone from him because Delilah did her seductive work and made sure that he finally told the secret of his strength, and his hair was cut off, and so he's weak.
Gotcha.
And so they're just torturing him. They gouge his eyes out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was horrible. Now he got a haircut and he's blind. Jeez.
This is bad.
He didn't ask for any of that.
So at their temple, they bound him with rope, the temple pillars. So he's kind of bound like, arm to the left, arm to the right.
Okay.
Standing there blind. He's been tortured.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
been probably flogged, whipped, and he cries out to God. Even though this guy's corrupt, okay, he's not a good guy.
Sure.
He still has this belief in God and a relationship with God to the point where he believes in him, cries out to him, and he says, "Would you give me one last burst of strength to destroy my enemies?" And so what happens is they're doing this big celebration under the pillars of the temple. Okay? And as they're doing that, he asks for this extra thing of strength. And in that, he is able to pull down the pillars of the temple on top of all the people that were there. So they say in one full swoop, he killed more Philistines in that moment than anybody had ever done before.
That's wild.
And he sacrificed his own life because he himself dies in doing so. But he has the strength to pull pillars
down of a temple. Cool.
Probably stone.
Yeah. More than likely.
So he was that kind of strong person until he wasn't. But then God grants him one last
redemption
burst of strength to take out the enemy in that way. So in his weakness, God made him strong to be a sacrifice for a great victory. Wow. Now, when you think about the posture, I just want you to imagine this, okay? Now, Samson, not a moral person. Jesus, a perfect person.
Absolutely. Yeah,
okay?
I see where you're going with this because my brain was making that connection as well.
So he's, Samson's tied to the pillars, left and right arms. Right?
Very much as if Jesus would have been tied to the cross.
Exactly.
Nailed to the cross.
Nailed and tied to the cross. Yeah. Exactly. And he pulls the pillars down over the temple, and Jesus dies for us in one great sacrifice. Yeah. And it conquers the enemy at hand. So there's a lot of visuals here that connect dots between Samson's story and the Jesus story. Of course, Jesus is going to be far greater.
Sure.
But it's very interesting how that works out.
To credit God's genius, as always, like Samson had to kind of be a bad dude to lose his power in the way that he did, getting drunk with Delilah, cut it. And he would never have been able to take out the Philistines the way that he did without being sacrificed.
Correct.
In that way.
Yeah.
So had he been this great moral warrior, he would have never found himself in that position, and they wouldn't have all collected to celebrate his demise.
Correct.
You couldn't have told him that at the time, this big buff dude, this gym bro walking around thinking he's going to solve everybody's problems because he's, Samson with the good hair. There's no way he could have seen that future. He knew he was there to do what he needed. He was chosen by God, but there's no way he knew it was headed that way.
Right.
But it did. And I'm sure he thought, I failed. There's no way. Mm-hmm. But then he cries out publicly.
Yeah.
And then
give me one last shot and I'll take it.
Completes the mission. Crazy.
So he's tempted with lust and power.
What a story.
And he loses strength and sight. And then in his total weak state, God grants him one last chance to be strong, to be this ultimate sacrifice to create this great victory over the Philistines.
Wow.
End of Judges.
That's a crazy story.
But of course, it goes back to the end of the book that we already read. Mm-hmm. They still fell back into the cycle of sin and disobedience. Even after seeing all this great victory, they still fall back into sin and disobedience and did what was right in their own eyes. And there was no king in the land, and they just did whatever they wanted. And so that's how the book ends. Now, God using Gideon, God using Samson to answer the problems of the people, the selfishness that they brought upon themselves, but then he provides for them judges. Now, I'm going to take you to the front of the story to kind of show you why we had all these stories to begin with. Why did we have judges to begin with? Why?
Yes, we didn't touch on that.
Well, in Judges 2, verses 10 to 11, it says, after that whole generation had been gathered to their fathers. And then we're talking about the generation of Joshua. Okay. And conquering the land.
Okay.
Almost.
Didn't quite get all of the evil
at least occupying the land for the first time.
Okay.
After that whole generation, his whole generation had been gathered to their fathers, another generation grew up. Man, could you say these sentences any old day of the week?
Yeah.
Because here's what the next generation does when they grow up.
That's what we tend to do.
I know. There was another generation that grew up who knew neither the Lord nor what he had done for Israel. And then the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord and served the Baals or the Baals. Those are the false worship idols and the temples and everything that was false. So they became selfish people who did whatever they wanted to do and worship false gods. And that's why Judges had to happen.
Right.
And all 12 of them. And we just highlighted Gideon and Samson. There's others, but those two are. Deborah was one, so there's a female in there. Go females.
Like I said, I got a cousin. She's a judge.
That's right. Is her name Deborah?
No, it's Mary Kay.
Okay.
She's a Supreme Court justice. It's pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It is very cool.
Yeah.
She's a very impressive person.
Cool. So you have that whole story, all the judges, and because a generation grew up that didn't know the Lord, didn't want to know the Lord.
Turned away
from God.
Didn't hear the stories.
Did their own thing. So this is going to be an interesting way to close out this podcast because I'm going to teach you something that just about everybody that's going to listen to this that knows their Bible are either going to hate me in the next 5 minutes.
Perfect.
Or their jaws are going to hit the floor. Okay, one of the two.
All right.
I don't know which one.
Thank goodness we got 7 episodes in before we got everybody hating us. Perfect.
I don't want anybody hating us, but here's the deal. Like this selfishness, it's not just a nation bowing down to false idols and worshiping false gods, and it's us. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to bring this into 2025 here.
Okay.
We have this problem too because of the way we raise our kids.
For sure.
So I'm going to revisit an old proverb, and it really fits into the narrative of Judges because if you do what is right in your own eyes, it's going to lead to bad things. Mm-hmm. If you follow the Lord, it's going to lead to better things. Not perfect things, but better things.
Yeah.
But definitely if you don't follow the Lord, it's not going to go good. Right. So I'm going to read to you Proverbs 22, verse 6. My dad has this in his book, Mistranslated, Misinterpreted, Misapplied. It's the first chapter. I've learned this a long time ago back when I was in seminary. Professor Gary Hall gave this to my dad, then Gary Hall taught it to me. I sat in the front row. This is going to be boring right here. Translating Hebrew words into English because the Old Testament's mostly Hebrew and some Aramaic, but mostly Hebrew.
Yeah.
So Gary taught this to me. Dr. Hall, I should call him by his proper name. God rest his soul, he's passed away. But Proverbs 22:6 in our normal English Bibles says this: train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not turn from it. Okay, that's how the verse reads in most of our English Bibles.
Okay.
Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not turn from it. What that sounds like is if you train him up the right way, he won't turn away from it.
Right.
Wrong.
Okay. Break that down for me.
I'm going to. I mean, just logically, just think. Do you think there are plenty of godly parents who have raised their kids in the best way possible and their kids ended up still rebelling?
Oh, probably every one of them.
Okay. So that must mean that this text cannot mean that. Cannot mean train up a child in the way he should go and the right way. And when he's old, he will turn from it. He'll never turn from it.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Can't be. And here's the translation. So I'm going to give you a very detailed Hebrew translation, which is going to fit our narrative. We don't want to be in the dark ages with the judges, and that's why I'm bringing this up.
Yeah.
The literal Hebrew translation is this. Train up a child in, it really is the way his. That's how it's written in Hebrew.
Okay.
The way his. But the way Hebrew writes a possessive pronoun in front of a noun is, it puts it at the end. So it's like the way his. Right?
Gotcha. Yep.
If you just to translate that in English so it makes sense to us in our ears, train up a child in his own way or in his way. When he is old, he will not turn from it. You tell me, mom of 3, if you let your kids be trained in their way, the way they want to be raised, how will it go?
I don't want to know. I am enemy number 1 in most days.
Exactly.
Because I know I've seen kids, not only my kids' peers, but like you saw it, I saw it growing up, and you thought you knew better. And didn't we just say this earlier? I feel like I'm having deja vu maybe, where it was like I'm not as cool as their parents. We just talked about
right.
right. If I let my kids, or better yet, let me speak on my own experience as a child, because I have a great memory. If every time I said to my parents, how come you can't be like so-and-so parents? They get to do whatever they want and they're fine. And I look at those people that I wanted to be treated like, and I am so grateful my parents were like, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. You're not doing that, and it's not okay, and they won't be okay when they get older. And I was like, yeah, they will. They're fine. Oh, my mom's gonna listen to this and go, mm-hmm. And she's gonna know exactly who I'm talking about, because it was like a weekly battle. Then I was like, this person gets to do this, and how come you don't let me? All my friends are doing it. The famous phrase, right? And they're all fine. And my mom's like, I'm not all your friends' parents, and that's not going to happen with my child. And I was like, you're being crazy.
So when your mom listens to this, I should expect a high five the next Sunday.
She is going to be thrilled. She's going to come in with the biggest smile. I give her all these moments now, because now I realize how hard it is being a mom. Mm-hmm. And I apologize a lot these days. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And my kids are great. Like we haven't reached these years yet where it's that. But if I let my kids, because luckily my parents gave me the example of like, hey, guess what? We're not going to let you do whatever you want. And you turned out great because of it. Check out the kids who did get to do whatever they wanted. Where are they? And I'm like, they're not anywhere I want to be. Mm-hmm. It's scary to look at. Mm-hmm. It's terrifying to think I could have been on that same path with more lenient parents that just let me call the shot because I was throwing a fit. Like, that's crazy.
So would you say that that's epidemic in our culture?
It is more often the norm than it's not. And I think that constitutes an epidemic. Yes. Okay. Yes.
I feel like that's true too.
Yeah.
We tend to, and I don't think every parent desires to do this.
No, I think it's just the easier way in the moment. It's the road more traveled. Yeah. It's not the road less traveled, because that road is harder. Right. It's hard to look at your kids and go, I know you don't understand, and I know it looks super fun on the service, but there's a reason you cannot go. Right. And I don't have to give that to you. One day I will, but sometimes it's just not age appropriate to tell them why they can't do something, or you don't want to break their innocence in some ways. You know, it's hard. It's so hard.
Super hard.
Where you go to bed and you know, like, man, I failed them today. But did I? Mm-hmm. Because they hate me a little. Maybe that means I didn't fail them.
So how did this turn into a parenting podcast?
It always does.
That's kind of funny.
It always does.
Because
God is the ultimate parent.
Right.
He's our father, right?
It's real because that's how God treated Israel as a child, as his son, as his prized possession is segula, right? Mm-hmm. And they disobeyed. And then these proverbs get written. This is literature that Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes. They call them wisdom literature, influenced deeply by Solomon and other writers. And don't know why. I can't explain to you why the English translations in the past have been train up a child in the way he should go. Because the word should go is not in the Hebrew text.
Interesting.
At all. It just says train up a child in the way he.
Oh.
I mean, literally. They try to make sense of that.
Yeah. It came to a vote.
And somehow, and it came out the way he should go.
Okay.
And in our English minds, we're going, oh, that means in the right way.
Sure.
And it sounds like a promise. If you train up your child right, they will never turn from it when they get old. It's not a promise.
No.
This proverb is a warning. Train up a child in his own way, his selfish way, the way of the dark ages of the judges, the way of the dark ages of the Israelites, doing right what was right in their own eyes.
Yeah.
You see it when a kid does right in their own eyes. They're just, it's not good.
There's so many examples. Yeah.
And then it says, when he is old, he will not turn from it. What does that mean? He will continue to be selfish. Just like you said about some friends and everything.
Yeah.
They got to do whatever they want. Well, I like the way my adulthood's working out versus the way theirs is, right?
Yeah. And
So,
even our kids, because they never had that example set. And their kids are kids that I probably... I've seen enough, and I don't think I would be like thrilled to do play dates too often.
Right.
Or I'd have to supervise more. I'm not saying I'm not going to stop my kid from playing with another kid at the playground.
No.
I'm just saying I would know too much, and I would have to just make sure it was okay in my eyes, the interactions, because the level of parenting they're receiving is just so different than the level of parenting my kids are receiving.
Right.
And different parenting is okay, but you get what I'm saying.
Yep.
Like it would just be different. I would have to be more cautious. I question less now when my mom would be like, no, you can't go over there today. And I'd be like, why not? She's like, because you're learning crappy things.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm tired of dealing with it.
And I don't want to deal with that.
Right.
So that's where I want to drive this home is all the lessons we learned from the judges in the dark ages and doing right in their own eyes. That just sounds like a parenting problem. How do you break the cycle of sin in your own parenting, in your own family, in your own life? I say it this way. Teach your kids that God uses the ordinary to do the extraordinary, or the extraordinary, if you're going to say it correct.
Sure, yeah.
Extraordinary.
Yes.
So he used Gideon, the least of anybody, and God says the last will be first shall be last. Whatever you've done to the least of these, he's all about the least. He'll do the ordinary and make extraordinary out of it. God humbles the strong, Samson, uses weakness to display his power in our weakness. Mm-hmm. So what we can teach our children is they are not the center of the universe. God is.
Totally.
Kids cannot handle the burden of being in the middle of the universe.
No, that's
if
so
you want to
powerful.
know why they act up, because there's too much pressure on them to be the center of the universe.
Oh man, that's so good. That's so good.
But it's true.
It's so true. Like you can say, yes, I live for my kids. My kids are my world. Okay. That's good. Care for them.
It's
please.
a way of saying I love my kids unconditionally.
Exactly.
I get
It's what's the phrase I'm looking for? I don't think it's euphemism. That's not right.
Yeah.
It's like
a euphemism. It's a way
like,
of saying I love my kids.
My kids are my whole world.
Right.
Right, because you do anything for them, but you can't make them the center of your world.
No.
Because you're right. They can't handle that pressure. That's where you get meltdowns and they start flipping out and they act entitled because they don't know what else to do with it.
And so you can sit down with your kids and say, here's a lesson of Gideon. Here's the lesson of Samson. Here's a lesson of least of these. Here's a lesson of strength turned to weakness, turned to strength. And God did all of it in both of these men.
Wow.
Teach them that God uses the impossible situations to accomplish his purposes, because he does.
Yeah.
Teach them that they're to be God's instrument, if you will, in service to God, not the center of the universe, or not God themselves.
Totally.
Kids can't handle that.
No.
So
I don't think I could handle that.
No, nobody can. But we do this to our kids way too often.
For sure, especially nowadays.
The orbit is parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and kids in the middle. and we orbit around that.
100%.
That's our solar system.
Yep.
And I'm just telling you.
What happens when they fall out of that orbit? When they get a little bit older, they're not the shiny toy anymore. The spiral happens. The rebellion happens. They're like, wait, I'm not the most important thing? Mm-hmm. What do you mean? I'm going to earn your attention, and it might not be so good.
But here's what you don't want. You don't want your kid to end up being the worst employee of a boss.
No, I think I just said it last week.
You don't want them to be a selfish husband or wife to somebody.
Right. We just talked about that. I was like, I want to look at my daughter-in-law one day and say, I did everything I could.
I did my best for
I
you.
taught that boy how to do the dishes when he was 8.
Right.
And that boy knows how to load a dishwasher with the best of them.
That's exactly it.
It's all I want to do is make sure that my kids become effective and reliable members of society so that they don't think that they are the center of this world.
So if people are listening going, oh, I've already failed in this area, it's okay. Because of the next verse I'm going to share with you. As Paul says in 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9, he says, God said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. Mm-hmm. He's talking about a thorn in his flesh here, something that's really digging at him. We have a lot of theories as to what that thorn is, but whatever it is, it's bad. My grace, he says, is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses so that Christ's power may rest on me. Mm-hmm. So if you come with the posture of I'm weak and even defeated, that's exactly where Jesus needs you to be, where God needs you to be, then his power can be made perfect in that weakness. And it's good. Stop relying on your own strength. Stop relying on your own power. Your work ultimately is futile under your own strength and own power. So God's power is revealed when you pass this on to the next generation, what the Lord has done for you. Judges 2 tells us there was a generation that grew up that neither knew what the Lord had done for Israel, how great he was. Yeah. They didn't pass the torch on. They didn't pass faith on to them. That's how Judges starts.
That's crazy.
And then it ends in the same way. They did what was right in their own eyes. They're just like, well, we didn't learn our lessons. So I'm closing this out by saying, I want you to learn the lesson. Yeah. Please. God's power is revealed when you pass on to the next generation what the Lord has done for you. You come alongside your kids. Mm-hmm. Teach them those lessons. Also come alongside spiritual orphans that maybe don't have parents that follow the Lord. Friends that follow the Lord or whatever. You can be an adoptive spiritual parent to somebody. Yeah. And help teach them what is true. And then maybe we can avoid our own dark ages is what I'm aiming at here. Can we get away from our own dark ages? Yeah. Jesus says you're the light of the world. The city on the hill cannot be hidden. He wants you to be light. Philippians 14 and 2:14 and 15. We'll end here. Do everything without complaining or arguing, so that you may become blameless and pure. Here's the key phrase. Children of God, without fault in a crooked and depraved generation. That's dark ages. Mm-hmm. So we know we live. Paul's people lived in dark ages. So do we. Mm-hmm. In which he finishes up, in which you shine like stars in the universe. Wow. You shine like stars. So, there's some supernatural things overlaying that, but we won't get into that today.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's coming.
That may come. But he's saying that we can be a bright spot in this world if we quit doing what is right in our own eyes. Mm-hmm. We don't forget what the Lord has done for us. We pass this on to the next generation. Mm-hmm. We don't put our kids in the middle of the universe. We don't teach them how to be selfish for the rest of their lives. Train them up in his own way. He won't depart from it. And so the opposite of that is true. Train them up to be selfless, serving, loving, compassionate, unselfish person. And there's a good chance, not a promise, but a good chance that they'll end up being that kind of adult. Right. What a great way to...
Can hope so.
teach a kid, Yeah. And what a great way to kind of capture the judges in a way that kind of ties into our everyday lives, where there's this, judges didn't pass on the generations. They should have. Oh, man, they missed the boat there. And it ends up in the same way. They're doing right in their own eyes. Oh, man, they keep sin and disobedience going. Yeah. Again? We don't have to stay there is what I'm trying to say. Right. You and I don't have to stay there. Our families, our kids don't have to stay there. And our friends and everybody around us, we just don't have to stay there. Right. We can break the cycle.
Totally.
So I'm kind of like I'm in preacher mode now, and I need to get back to podcast mode.
I was enjoying it.
Good.
I was enjoying it. But
Good,
it's true. It's very full circle. It's breaking, like in the beginning you had said breaking the cycle of rebellion in your family's life. But every time we don't keep God at the center, it is a small rebellion.
Always.
In whatever medium that comes, whether it's the false gods or ourselves or, whatever it may be, the generational rebellion in your family's life, you can break.
Yep.
I loved my childhood. I have nothing but good things to say about it. But when it came to learning about God, I had to break what I thought was right. And now I'm bringing my family into it this way that truly does keep God at the center, because where we were before, it was people that I wanted to make sure thought I was good enough at the center, which is a rebellion of sorts, right? It's all I knew. But when I knew better, I did better.
I would call it ignorance.
Yeah. Once I knew better, I wanted to do better, which was coming to First Christian, because I was like, what's this Bible thing we're supposed to follow? How am I supposed to follow if I don't know it? Which brings us fast forward real quick to this day right here, episode 7 of Salty Bible Podcast, because if you don't know the Bible, you can't follow it. So
True.
Even the rebellions you don't know you're doing.
Perfect. You said it perfectly.
This could be a small step.
Yep.
Into breaking.
And we hope it is. We want this to be encouraging to everybody, and we do appreciate everybody listening.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Hopefully you're learning this story as we keep going along. Sorry it's dark at times, but it's just the way the Bible runs.
Try to keep it light.
Next week is a little more positive, so it always, like I said, the roller coaster ride goes back and forth. Let us know if you have any questions, anything we can answer for you at saltybiblepodcast@gmail.com. saltybiblepodcast@gmail.com. That's it for this week.
Cool. Well, let's say goodbye to the dark ages and hopefully brighten it up in here again.
That's right.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. We will see you next time.